Imagine transforming everyday operational challenges in your construction business into springboards for growth. Are you interested in hearing more? This is really for my real estate investors, construction pros, and entrepreneurs in the construction space. It's people that have maybe gone out on their own, started their own businesses. What if I told you that it is possible for you to have the same levels of success as these counterparts that I know you all see? Literally, you're the guy that's like, I know I build better than this person. I know my product is a better quality. I know that I have everything I should need to be able to be really successful. So why am I just not quite getting there? Or why am I dealing with all this stress and anxiety and all this, what feels like constant ongoing backlash in my life? Like, why? Why does it have to be this way? Well, I am here to tell you that it is actually possible for you to achieve those levels of success. And a lot of times these businesses have just taken a little introspection as an opportunity to understand where they might be getting off track and use that as a mechanism, like it's basically a catalyst for change. You gotta look, you gotta be willing to look. Now let's, shatter the misconceptions that like some people are just inherently successful and some people just aren't, and don't get overwhelmed by thinking you're sitting in that second camp. I promise you that each and every business owner has gone through these growing pains at some point, and I'm here to help you have that same level of growth in your world. First, in addition with this radical accountability and really like taking a look at ourselves and like what we're doing. So here I am, I'm talking to two different cameras because I might get different angles. I don't know. Sometimes you need a new perspective. And in order to do that, we want to have a look at certain things. So I'm going to identify some 3 key operational issues that I see in construction business, as well as things we can do about them. Issue 1, inefficient project management. Basically, project management is essential to successful completion of your construction projects, and any sign of like delay in schedules, cost overruns, or poor quality control can really indicate inefficiencies in your project management. Now let's just discuss the impact of that a little bit further. You know that when you go into a job, you're like, I'm gonna get this build handled, complete, and out the door 6 months or less. Your bid is set up for that, your estimates are set up for that, your rentals, everything you're expecting to pay for this job, including your labor force, is budgeted for that. And then next thing you know, like things start to creep and you're not hitting your milestones, and then you're further out. And you know that those things are just gonna lead to not making as much money as you could have. Now, what you're gonna do is you wanna implement a robust either project management software or a checklist or regular check-ins with yourself. If you're not ready to deal with software or invest in spreadsheets and things like that, or just you don't have the bandwidth for that, literally have your benchmarks kind of laid out and keep an eye on them. Another thing that I will speak of on that is we're talking about cost overruns. Now, if you're not doing tracking along the way, I promise you're paying too much money. If you're not using contracts and referring to your contracts before you make payments to make sure that everything is aligned with what you bought. Like if I'm buying services, labor, etc., but I'm getting a bill for God knows what. I have worked in companies where I have seen that the way that they were running things was to just go ahead and they get a bill and then they pay the bill. There's no scrutiny, there's no looking into it, nothing. And I'm like, you're being taken advantage of. I don't know how else to say this. If there's an agreement in place for X services for X dollars, then that's what the bills should add up to. But if you don't have that baseline, you don't even know if you're dealing in reality. Especially if you're like, oh, we estimate it'll take approximately this much. Okay, we'll get that in writing. Pin it down and be clear on that. I said I was going to identify 3 issues. I'm just going to talk about identifying some operational issues in construction and effective solutions. And we're going to focus today on inefficient project management because that covers so much. You could have a delay in schedules, cost overruns, or poor quality control that are going to indicate some inefficiencies. Now, I did speak on schedule delays, which are going to cost you money. I spoke on, because not only is extending your schedule going to cost you money, it's going to cost you time, which is also money. It's your opportunity costs. Like, what jobs are you not getting to? Do you have a commitment to be somewhere in 6 months and you're just completely missing the mark? You're going to run into issues with your relationships with your customers, not meeting, issues with your vendors. Like if a guy is expecting to show up a trade and be on site for this entire month, but you call him back for 1 day and a month later you try to call him back for another day, one, he's not going to want to do that because just the mobilizing and demobilizing is going to cost him too much money. As you can see, things can quickly spiral out of control. control. So my solution to this is to either implement a project management software that you love that helps keep you on task, that sends you reminders, or you're gonna want to, if you're not at that stage yet, and you might not be, and it's okay. If you're sort of DIYing this, I would definitely make sure I look at things like the anticipated schedule. Even if you're only looking a couple weeks out, you can start to see if what you're anticipating is hitting reality. And once you start doing those types of things, along with tracking your costs, comparing it to your budget, balancing things like that, even if you're just paying invoices only against the contract, you're gonna be in a lot better shape because there's gonna be less surprises for you at the end. I know guys that pour their heart and soul into their work. I mean, really passionate about what they do, what they build. They take a lot of pride in it, so they're gonna do a good job, and that really matters to them. But then what happens is they do it at the expense of their time, their money, their sanity practically, because they're trying to make sure they get it done, even if it's just to cut their losses at the end of the job and be like, I'm just not gonna keep doing this business anymore, because ultimately that's what happens. And I see it all the time, and you guys are better than that. You build like a mofo. You're good at the work that you do. You just might not be so good at some of this really important back-end business side of things, and that's where I come in, and I'm here to help you with that and see you through that, because I want you to grow too. Let's all go make some money. All right, signing off for now.